New York City, a place built to withstand the impossible, suddenly found itself overwhelmed by nature in one terrifying night. A massive rainstorm exploded over the 5 boroughs, dropping more than 2 inches of rain in minutes, transforming iconic streets into dangerous, debris-filled rapids. Sirens echoed against towering skyscrapers as water forced its way into basements, subway tunnels, and storefronts that had never seen a drop inside before. People who had lived their whole lives in the city said they'd never witnessed anything like it. Highways shut down, buses stranded, and thousands of commuters trapped on their way home. At airports, runways shimmered under rising water flights, grounded as the storm swallowed the city's rhythm. New York is no stranger to chaos, but this time, chaos didn't come from crowds or noise. It came from water, rising fast, demanding attention, and leaving millions to wonder how could this happen so fast, and could it happen again?
Okay, we got a little problem here. All right, sit here. I'm going to pick you up, okay?
It started as a typical rainy evening in late September. Umbrellas, opening taxis spraying puddles, commuters rushing for shelter. But in less than the time it takes to finish a cup of coffee, the skies unleashed a month's worth of rainfall in one violent burst. Sidewalks disappeared beneath swirling water as storm drains instantly clogged. Traffic lights flickered and died. Neighborhoods turned unrecognizable. In Queens, families looked out their windows and gasped as cars floated sideways. In the Bronx, water crashed down staircases into subway stations, drowning platforms where hundreds had been waiting minutes earlier. People scrambled up slippery steps, gripping handrails as currents shoved against their legs. The Long Island Expressway had to be shut down when floodwater surged over the median, leaving dozens of vehicles abandoned like stranded islands. The Belt Parkway vanished beneath waves stirred up by passing trucks. Even emergency vehicles struggled, headlights barely visible through the brown rush of runoff. While radar screens glowed red and purple, emergency alerts pinged too slowly for many who had already found themselves overwhelmed. This wasn't rain anymore. It was a relentless opponent. And New York had no time to prepare for the fight. On the Upper East Side, the Soto family thought they were safe. Their apartment was several floors above ground, and storms had never reached them before. But safety vanished when the building's power cut out, and the stairwell filled with the terrifying sound of water climbing fast. Marina Soto, a single mom, held her 6-year-old son, Lucas, tight, as neighbors shouted warnings down the hallway. The basement, once home to storage lockers and boilers, was now a rising reservoir. The building's super yelled for everyone to move upward, his flashlight beam slicing through the dark like a lifeline. Across the river in Brooklyn, 22-year-old Malik abandoned his car on Atlantic Avenue and waded chest-deep, holding his phone above water, to protect a desperate voicemail from his little sister. "Are you coming home? Please, hurry." Meanwhile, firefighters knocked down doors across the city, dragging terrified residents from flooded basement apartments. Some people were forced onto countertops and bookshelves, anything to keep from being pulled under. Phones rang endlessly. Helplines were jammed. Seconds felt like hours. This wasn't just infrastructure failure. It was a survival test in the most densely populated city in America. And the water wasn't slowing down.
Wave? Oh, ready for this?
Experts later confirmed what New Yorkers already felt that night: the storm was too intense, too fast, and the city was never built for rainfall like this. Warm Atlantic waters nearly 2 degrees above average pumped excessive moisture into the sky. When that moisture condensed, it became a rapid-fire deluge, with nowhere to go, but down all at once. New York's drainage system dates back more than a century. It's designed to handle rain at a manageable pace, not a torrent. Once the first wave overloaded the storm drains, every drop afterward became a rising threat. Street-level flood defenses, curbs, gutters, and even parked green spaces were instantly overwhelmed. Underground, the city's arteries suffered the worst blow. Subway tunnels acted like flood funnels, pulling in water like a vacuum. Electrical systems sparked. Tracks disappeared. Stations flooded from below and above, simultaneously, a disaster no blueprint accounted for. Urban planning experts warn this is becoming the new reality. More moisture in the air. More storms stalling overhead. More cities one storm away from disaster. New York didn't just experience weather. It experienced the future. And the future proved it could take over the city in less than 30 minutes. Cool.
Oh my goodness.
As the storm retreated, the aftermath revealed a city pushed beyond its limits. Emergency officials tallied the first stunning figures: 2 deaths, both trapped in fast-flooding basement spaces. Over 140 emergency rescues across New York City. Dozens of subway stations out of service due to dangerous flooding. Nearly 3 inches of rainfall recorded in Brooklyn and Queens. Thousands of flights delayed or canceled across LaGuardia. And JFK millions impacted by one of the most disruptive flash floods of the year. Photos captured the city's vulnerability. SUVs bobbing sideways in intersections. Delivery trucks stranded like abandoned cargo ships. Restaurants and bodegas with water lines halfway up their shelves. For local businesses, the hit was immediate and brutal. Many had just restocked for the weekend rush. Now their products floated out of refrigerators and display cases. Insurance phone lines jammed as owners tried to calculate how a single hour of rain could wipe out months of income. Meanwhile, residents stared at ruined furniture-soaked floors and walls already blooming with mildew. Power outages forced families to toss out groceries while they dealt with the emotional toll of being displaced. These weren't just statistics on a briefing sheet. They were real lives paused by a storm that came out of nowhere. As flood alerts echoed through the city, New York's first responders raced into action. Firefighters climbed into rescue trucks that now drove more like boats pushing through waist-deep currents on streets where taxis had ruled just hours before. Calls for help poured in hundreds every hour, and crews had to prioritize the most urgent people, trapped electricity, sparking the elderly unable to move fast enough. In basement apartments, often home to working-class families, firefighters smashed windows just to reach those pinned behind jammed doors. NYPD officers carried children through swirling waters while shouting for others to climb higher. EMS teams treated hypothermia injuries from debris and the dangerous panic that comes when darkness and water rise together. The Soto family watched from their building's upper floor as a rescue boat arrived. Lucas buried his face into his mom's shoulder, crying as firefighters guided them over a railing into safety. Marina kept whispering that everything would be okay, though her shaking hands told another story. All across the city, strangers pulled strangers into safety. People handed out dry jackets. A deli owner passed bottled water to neighbors. Heroism wasn't a headline, it was happening on every flooded block. In a city known for independence, dependence saved lives.
thought I was special.
As the storm passed and the waters slowly receded, New York didn't immediately breathe a sigh of relief. Instead, it paused, shocked by how fast everything had changed. The city that rises higher every year suddenly felt incredibly low. Families stood outside their homes holding trash bags filled with whatever could be saved. Furniture sat on sidewalks, ruined in silence. A mother stared at a ruined crib, knowing her baby's room would never feel safe again. Teenagers recorded videos not for views, but as proof that what happened was real. The Soto family was relocated to a temporary shelter, where Lucas clung to his toy car, the only thing he grabbed before the water chased them out. Marina filled out paperwork with trembling hands, worried about her job, her home, her future, all washed into uncertainty. Officials addressed the public with stern faces. There will be more storms like this. Engineers warned that New York's defenses were designed for yesterday's climate, not tomorrow's. The idea that flash floods only happen near coasts or during hurricanes had been shattered overnight. Now the message was undeniable. If 1 hour of rain can bring New York to its knees, what happens when the storms get even stronger? New York will recover. It always has. Crews will repair the streets, reopen subways, and sweep away the mud that now coats familiar neighborhoods. Soon the city's unstoppable energy will return. Trains rumbling underfoot taxis, honking crowds rushing with purpose. But beneath that comeback lies a warning the water made impossible to ignore. This can happen again, and faster, and worse. Climate scientists are clear warmer oceans, fuel storms that drop massive amounts of rain in dangerously short bursts. Flash floods are no longer rare. They're becoming a new chapter of American weather. Preparedness must evolve. Infrastructure must evolve. We must evolve. Because the next family trapped in rising water could be your friends, your neighbors, you. The Soto family survived. But survival shouldn't depend on luck or timing. It should depend on planning awareness and communities looking out for one another. As we continue documenting the world's most extreme events, one truth stands tall. We cannot control the storm, but we can control our response to it. So if you believe these stories need to be told, if you believe information saves lives, then help us spread the message. Like this video. Share it with someone who needs to stay prepared. Subscribe for more real-time reporting from a changing planet. Because the next storm isn't a question, it's a countdown.